Hey gang, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling. And guys, today we're going to be talking about how to rig a tube with the new core tackle tush head, and I'm going to talk about how it's completely replaced my traditional tube head here since the tush head came out here. It gives the bait a lot better action. I'm going to show you guys some tips and advice on how to rig it up and talk a little bit about fishing it. Also, guys, before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips here. I want to remind everybody about our Fish the Moment virtual lessons we offer, guys. You can book a one-on-one lesson with me on a Zoom call. We can go over about anything you want to on fishing, lakes, fish, tactics, techniques, whatever. And also we have our winter lake map breakdowns up on the Fish the Moment website, and I'll put the link in the description to both of those. Those are really, both of them are good resources to help your fishing out there. So much appreciated. Okay guys, talking about tube, how to set a tube up with the new core tackle tush head here. We're gonna talk about the difference on it. Now, first of all, we've talked about this a little bit, and we'll continue to do so because core tackle's coming out with a lot of really cool jig heads and stuff like this. But here's a traditional tube head that I've used for years here. This is, I've used this head for 25 years on my tubes, and it works pretty good. And here's the new tush head, the difference on it here. Now, there's a couple different differences on here. First of all, the main thing is the weight distribution on the head there. You can see on the tush head here, you've got the weight distributed evenly down the shank of the hook, whereas the tube head is up on the head here. And what happens is when you put the regular tube head into a tube, this tube, since the head is positioned in the front, it just makes it fall just down like that, no action. But with the tush head, guys, since you've got weight distributed throughout the shank there, it creates this spiral effect when the lure goes down in the water. It creates this action that cannot be, produced by any other type of a tube head that has the, the weight on the front of it there. And also, the one I used, this is the 1/4 ounce with the 2/0 hook, and it has just the perfect bite gap and the hook diameter that I like with my tubes here. So first of all, let me show you how to set it up here, guys, how I like to rig it. First of all, on every tube, tubes are usually pretty salty, so you always want to break up the salt in them. So we'll rough them up. It just makes them so much more softer, gives them better action, and makes for easier hook penetration. So just spend some time bringing all that salt to the surface like that. It's a really big tip. And then the next thing you're going to do, you're not going to insert the head on the end of it. You're going to come through the butt of it. So take a pair of scissors and cut probably about 1 inch of a gap into it there. Just open it up like that. Then we're going to take the tush head, we're going to run it up in there, and then we're going to bring it out the top. Super, super simple, just like that. And what happens here is since this has been opened up right here, this gives it even a better odds to hook the fish, because you don't have the plastic gooped up here as far as getting in the way of the hook penetration. You got it pretty much open there, so it opens it up, makes it easier for penetration. Hooks in there nice and sleek. It just, sort of blends with the tube. But mainly, like I said, you have the weight distribution now is on the entire front of the tube here, all the way down the hook. You have the weight distributed evenly, which gives it that really cool circular motion like that. Guys, this right here, I'm telling you, a lot of people do not throw the tube anymore, but this is one of the most effective bass catchers today that there is, period. If you're in any type of a situation, if you're in an area of the lake that you're catching them on any bottom bouncing lure, I don't care if it's a drop shot or if it's a Carolina rig, a football head jig, a shaky head, a Ned rig, anything like that, the tube, guys, usually will produce as many bites and it'll catch bigger fish, especially if you have smallmouth bass. If you guys have smallmouth bass, a tube is just one of the top lures ever to fish for smallmouth. And even now more, since you got the tush head and the crazy fall that it has, it's going to be even more appealing to smallmouth in that clear water when they can see this thing dropping visually. Now, since this hook here, it's a perfect diameter hook in there. It is a little bit thicker than the wire hook like this, but it's still small enough that it doesn't get in the way. So most of the time, I'll fish it, like on 10-pound test Seagar and Vezex fluorocarbon line. I usually use it on, some type of a 7-foot medium action bait casting rod. since the tube weighs 1/4 of an ounce, or the head that I use weighs 1/4 of an ounce, and the hook is a pretty stiff hook, I feel like I can get by with bait caster. I don't have to use a spinning rod on it, because the bait caster will give me a little bit more power. Another thing I like to do with it, I'll give you guys a little tip here, is if you're fishing a lake that's got a lot of smallmouth in it, you really want to pop that tube hard off the bottom, because if you're fishing up around the Great Lakes areas and all those northern type smallmouth, there's a lot of drum in there. And if you throw that tube out there and you sort of drag it along the bottom, it's going to attract so many drum. But if you pop that tube hard off the bottom, like pop it where, you know, it goes a foot or two off the bottom and let it twirl back down with the tush head the way it does it, it'll trigger those smallmouth over the drum to hit it. But if you're fishing a lake that has, you know, primarily largemouth and spotted bass in it, you don't really have to do that. You can drag it along a little bit. You can, you know, hop it some. You can still pop it, but it's not necessary as far as the drum deal. Here is, when I'm talking about in terms of how I like to work this setup, a lot of it depends on the water clarity. The dirtier the water, the slower I work it and keep it tight to the bottom, and the clearer the water, the higher I'll hop it. Now, I don't fish it in dirty water. It's like the minimum depth or the minimum visibility range that I'll fish a tube in is about 3.5 foot clarity. I've done really good flipping and pitching a tube around shallow cover and dirty water, but when I'm fishing it on a jig head with the more natural colors, I'm usually fishing it in a little bit deeper water and a little bit clearer water. And if you take this setup, guys, get you a 1/4 ounce tush head. I'll put, you can get them at Tackle Warehouse. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description where you guys can get these things. You get you a tube, get you a 1/4 ounce tush head, and you throw it on main lake points in any lake that you're fishing that has water visibility of 3.5 feet or greater. You're gonna get some good bites on it. So anyway, give it a try, guys. I completely have quit using traditional tube heads. Everything now is the tush head here. It's gonna get you more bites. It's gonna get you more strikes. You're gonna land the ones you get. Just a lot better setup than the old tube heads that's been around forever. So hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.